If you knew what your yes entailed, you would have never said yes. Hey you guys, it's Tori, also known as Love Miss Liz, and I am back with another episode. So let me just go ahead and start off by saying, just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's where you need to be. Whatever the new thing is that you want to do, or whatever it is you want to change about your life or change in the future, to get something you've never had, you're gonna have to do something you've never done. That being said, in a prior video, I mentioned how getting started is one of the hardest parts. Then I mentioned consistency being probably the hardest part. So once you start, you got to keep going. And it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to feel good all the time. And you're going to face new challenges almost every single day when you're in this new journey of navigating and continuously pushing forward. But you have to keep going. And we're taught basically how to be amazing employees, how to be amazing students. We're not necessarily taught how to continuously bet on ourselves. So if you got it in you, baby, you got it in you. And kudos to you. But there's a lot of people who have to unlearn giving more for corporations and establishments than we give for ourselves, or even continuously moving forward in a field that you want something in. You have to keep going. And it's easier to keep going in a way that we've always learned and that we're accustomed and conditioned to do. We're not accustomed to movement in a positive direction and not having something right there to be like, okay, you're doing good. Okay, here's a raise. Okay, here's a 6-month annual report. Okay, here's a whatever. You have to continuously keep going and knowing that in you seeking God and you focusing your heart and your mind and your body and your attention and your soul on God, that He's going to make all the things work together regardless of how they come together. The pieces are going to come together. The only time they don't come together is when you aren't focused on God, is when you don't have God involved in the process. So keep that in mind. You're going to get to places and things and crossroads where it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be unfamiliar to you, and you're not going to necessarily know how to navigate it. And it's going to feel like, dang, I want to just turn around. Like, can I pivot back and just go back to what I was doing or do what I was doing before, even though you know how much you hated it, how much you didn't like it, how much it wasn't for you. And you want to go back to it because it's familiar, but it's unfulfilling. You got to keep going. You still have to withstand the storms. You have to withstand the days where it's like, dang, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I don't know what it is. For whatever reason, things that might not have bothered me so much before, today, I'm feeling it. And that's where the things like spiritual warfare comes in. If there's something inside of you that's supposed to be pushed out, it's not going to be like, I decided I don't want to do it. And I mean, it might be, but what are the odds? Push through the discomfort, push through the unfamiliar spaces, push through the unfamiliar territories, and get to a point where the new thing in you is what's familiar. And you learn how to navigate it, because not the journey got easier, but you got stronger. You got wiser. You got smarter. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy. Nobody ever said it was going to be something that you just could do with the snap of your fingers. No one ever said that it was going to come overnight. No one ever said that. But as you progress and as you grow and as you become an expert in what it is you're doing, trained and skilled in what it is you're doing, it's going to get easier for you. Not because the task is easy, but because you're equipped, because you did the work, because you put in the time, because you put in the practice. That's going to be why it's easy for you. It's going to look easy for you. People are going to be like, oh, he did that. Like, I could do that. They'll be like, okay, go ahead and do it on your own time. But check me out though. It's not easy. I'm blessed. I'm trained. I'm equipped. I'm educated. I know what I'm doing, and that's why I'm doing it with such ease. That's why I'm doing it so gracefully, because God equipped me. As we move and as we get to our new levels and new devils and this and that and the third, you have to keep your eyes focused. Keep your eyes focused on God. Keep your eyes focused on the mission, and everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to, as long as you show up, even on the hard days, even during the hard times, even when it's like, I don't know what I've been through today. I don't know what I've been through, but I still gotta do this audition. I still am gonna make the content. I'm still gonna push myself. I'm still gonna push this because I owe it to myself. And for all the entrepreneurs out there, for all the people who are doing their own things, for all the creators, for all the artists, for all the people navigating this arena without a job description or a how-to or an outline, or if you do this and do this, then it's going to pay off and you're going to have all the stars align exactly the way they need to. Let this be a lesson to work as hard for yourself as you do for your boss. Work as hard for yourself as you did for those employers. Work as hard for yourself as you would do for any establishment or any corporation where you're answering to somebody. This time you're answering to yourself. This time you're showing up for yourself. And every single time you back down, every single time that you don't show up in the capacity that you told yourself you were going to show up in, you're breaking your trust within yourself. You're becoming more and more insufficient in your ability to show up for you. And what does that say about where you place your value? What does that say about how you feel about yourself if you can't show up for yourself? Shouldn't you show up for yourself first? Shouldn't you pour into your cup first? If you knew what your yes entailed, you would have never said yes. And that's why the desire has to be put on your heart sometimes, and you just got to go through the process. The sermon from my church this week was, there's purpose in your prison. And after saying yes to something that you've never said yes before to, after saying yes to something new, after saying yes to a pivot, after saying yes to something that's unfamiliar, you may end up in seasons that feel like prison. You may end up in seasons that feel like you are isolated and you are trapped and you are incapable of seeing what's next. But when you say yes to God, you're saying yes to trusting Him through that process. You're saying yes to trusting Him despite the pain, despite the discomfort. In the book Unraveled that I mentioned in a prior video, there is a chapter where the author talks about going deep. Your yes will take you deep with God. You can imagine it being like you're on a beach and you're walking from the shallow end and it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. When you're in the shallow end, it's easy. You trust yourself. You know what your feet can do. You know you can keep yourself up. You know that the shore is right there. The sand, the land, all of that is right there. It's right there. All you got to do is turn around. And your comfort zone, your familiar places, your familiar faces, all those things are right there. But when you say, God, I'm going to focus on you. God, I'm going to keep going. God, I want to see what it is you have for me. It's going to be a road untraveled. That's what the chapter's called. It's going to be a road untraveled. It's going to be a season of you going deeper and deeper and deeper, and your feet getting further and further and further from the ground. And when you're in it, once you look back and see how far you come, you might panic. You see how far you got and you see how far you got to go, and you're like, God, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I can find my peace in this. So then you start panicking, right? You're not relaxed. You're not floating because you're thinking about what all else this yes is going to entail, what all else I'm going to have to go through. And you're like, I could just go right back there. You know, it's very familiar. It's very comfortable. I don't have to panic there. I can rely on myself there. I can rely on myself when my feet are touching the ground. I can rely on the things around me when my feet are touching the ground. I can rely on what it is this physical world is providing when my feet can touch the ground. But the further and further and further and further and further I go out, those things just start dropping. Those things that I became so dependent on start falling off. I can't depend on those things anymore. So now that I'm out here in the wilderness, now that I'm out here in the wild, now that I'm out here and I have nothing to put my feet on, God, it's me and you. It's just me and you. Then either I can panic because I'm relying on myself, or I can release the desire to control and say, I know that my feet aren't on solid ground, but my heart is on God and I'm in His hands and I can keep going. And this isn't the end and I don't have to turn back. I don't have to go back to that familiar place. Did anything good come out of that familiar place? Was your voice as strong and as wise as it was in that familiar place? Did you see your purpose in that familiar place? How safe are you on that beach? How safe are you on shore? How safe are you when your feet are touching the ground? How safe are you actually? It's false security. It's a false idea of having things under control. We can even look at the news and say riptides, sharks, all these things just coming out of nowhere. I mean, not coming out of nowhere because it's always been a part of society, but these things that we're faced with and these things that happen sporadically when you have this false sense of security. I thought I was okay. My feet were touching the ground. I thought I could run back to shore. I didn't think there was any danger in this water. I thought I was good. It's a false sense of security. Set your focus on God. Set your sights, Set your heart, set your soul on God, and let Him lead you where He needs to lead you. Let Him take you where He wants to take you. Relinquish the need to control, relinquish the need to direct yourself, because you know nothing. Okay, this is the book that I mentioned. The chapter that talks about all of this is chapter 6. It's called A New Road Untraveled. Some of it reads, "When I called you to me, you gave me your yes. You spoke your yes to me with your lips, and I was overjoyed at your response. As you continue to follow me, you will notice that your yes will come from a deeper place than your lips. Do not fear. I will cultivate this yes from a deeper space through you. Your yes will start to grow from your heart. And from this yes, my heart sings." You see, when you said yes, you had no idea what you were saying yes to. Otherwise, you might have said no. This is part of my mystery that I will reveal to you. I'm calling you to come with me to the deep. The deep is not a popular place. It is full of surprises. It can be dark and lonely, and it will cause you to want to turn back to the shallow edge of the ocean. In the shallow, you are safe in your own mind. You can stand and you aren't reliant on anyone to rescue you because your feet are on dry land. With no need of saving, you remain the same, but there is newness deep within you, which is why I call you to the deep. The shores are overtaken with broken seashells. As you glance around the shoreline, you will see many broken shells. Many shells get washed up in the shallow waves and return right back to where they were before on the sand. What lives on the shore is familiarity, a sleep that plagues the shoreline like a fog. I've called you to wake you from that sleep, and what that requires, following me into the deep. I will never force you into anything you cannot handle with my help. I'm not a resource, but the source for all your needs here. So when you have moments where you want to reach for something to help you cope, like you've done in the past, do not reach for alcohol or edibles or porn or a person. Reach for me and see what happens. I will cultivate a deep sense of reliance on me in the deep. It will feel abnormal initially, but this abnormality will formulate into a trust that cannot be broken. I am leading you to waters that you cannot cross on your own. The waters will rise higher, and when they do, keep your eyes on me. Focus on what I have shown you in your dreams. Go back and read what you've documented with dates and times in our quiet place. Remember my promise to you. Spend time in my word, and I will reveal the truth of my word to you. Speak to me in conversation. This is prayer. Talk to me at any moment of the day. I am here. That is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if so, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.